Today, we are talking about the pound as it breaks down below those range lows. I'm going to have a complete game plan for you. You're not going to want to miss this. We're going to talk about short-term opportunities, also where this market could be headed over the coming days, and where to look for potential buying opportunities for this market, and also the latest on the DXY, which that too, guys, I have some really nice key levels for you guys to watch, so you're not going to want to miss that. Now, before we get started, if you do want my help with your trading, including seeing my trades live, also real-time market updates and Discord VIP-only videos, and also full access to the course, be sure to check out the link in the description of this video for 85% off lifetime access to VIP. And just a side note too, guys, I am revamping everything. So the course is getting a facelift, and also the Discord server as well. So we're going to have all new channels and categories in there, and also brand new lessons in the course. So again, check out that link in the description of this video. If you're on the website, click on that join VIP link. Okay, looking at the pound GBPUSD here on the daily time frame. So obviously market has been very sideways here for the past few months. You've got the range lows right back here, which the market is breaking down from here today. You also have that November open right there at that same area. Okay, so this is your range here for the pound that again is breaking down here on a Tuesday. So the key for the pound really is, clearly we have resistance now coming in up here around 1.313 all the way up to about 1.314. So the upper level obviously is that recent range low. So this low back here, these lows through here, you can see this is being lost here today, although we don't have confirmation just yet because we do still have about 6 hours left in today's session. But if the market does, close below here, then this becomes your resistance area, and you're looking at support down here around 1.294, maybe 1.295. And the reason this is significant down here as well is because we do have an unfinished auction, which, these tend to get swept by a market. So whenever you see levels like this here, this is a TPO level. What this means back here is that it looked like sellers were not finished. Okay, so when you get a level like this here, it does often attract the market, and that could be the case here, especially with that key support coming in there just below that mark. Now, this might look ambiguous. This might look like, why do I have a level drawn right through the middle of this? And I'm going to explain exactly why here in this video. All right, so let's do that, and then I'll get into some key levels to watch here over the coming days. So first of all, what we're going to do is we are going to go into a 30-minute time frame, and I'm going to turn on TPO. Now, TPO is time price opportunity. There are various platforms out there that will show you this. It's essentially market profile data. And TradingView also has one on the premium plan. So if you sign up for the premium plan, you can get access to their TPO indicator. Now, this is not sponsored. I am not sponsored by TradingView. I have no stake in this. Just letting you guys know because it is a fantastic indicator. So if we switch to a monthly time frame, I'm going to head back here to March and April and show you exactly why I have my level drawn where I do. Okay, so let me expand this because for the most part, March was very sideways here. Okay, so a lot of compression here from the market. And obviously the very next month was a completely different story. But let's start here with the month of March. So back here in March, you can see we have this POC point of control for the pound. Now, what this means is that this white line through here, this is where the pound spent most of its time, okay, during the month of March. So from these lows down here, up here to the high, this is where the market spent most of its time. And that in and of itself tends to serve as support or resistance. Okay, now if we look at the month of April, again, a very different story from March, where we had the pound actually sweep those lows. Okay, so sweep the lows down here, and then we got that expansion. Now, in this month, if you'll notice here, I'm going to compress this chart a little bit so you can see the highs and lows. And what you'll notice here is that we have a couple new terms. Okay, we've got this VAL down here, and we've got this VAH up here. And also, obviously, the POC. However, what I want to focus on here is the VAL. That is the value area low. So what this means is that from the low down here in April, up here to the high. Okay, you can't quite see it on this chart, but this up here was the high from April. And between these two levels, between this area down here and this one, basically this VAL and VAH, what this means is that between this level here and this one up here, this is where the pound spent about 70% of its time in the month of April. Now, value area lows and value area highs also tend to serve as support or resistance for a market. And when they align like this, when you see a monthly POC, okay, so from March, our POC here, aligning with that April VAL right there at 1.294, maybe 1.295 in that area, this means, guys, pay attention to this because it is likely to serve as support on the way down. Okay, so with that in mind, this is why I have my level drawn where I do. All right, so I'm going to switch this back to daily so I don't forget later and turn this off here for now so that it's nice and clean. Now, looking at the 4-hour time frame, what's also interesting here for the pound, and you can see this a lot on a lot of the major currency pairs right now, but we do have this equidistant descending channel in play. So off of these highs back here, you can see we've got this low, and currently, again, we do have the market breaking down below that November open, also those previous range lows around 1.314. So again, as long as the market stays below this area, we have a downtrend intact. And also looking at this equidistant channel, you can see where the next stop here for this market could be down here at the bottom of that channel, which also aligns with that poor low or unfinished auction around 1.2965. So bottom line, guys, this down here, okay, considering the proximity to current prices right now, this could serve as a so-called magnet for the market and pull it lower down here to sweep that low. And then also we have this confluence of support down there around 1.294, maybe 1.295. So in my opinion, guys, looking at this market, I do think that given where the pound is trading right now, it does kind of look like we are going to get that retest down here in this region. But then I think that this area down here is going to be the one to watch for a bounce. Now, looking at the DXY, this also aligns with what we're seeing there. And you can see where on the daily time frame, we are getting the market breaking out from this descending channel. You can also see where it is holding above the November open. So if you saw yesterday's Euro USD video, what we talked about there was the fact that this November open right here at 99.75 was going to be critical for this market. And what I said in that video was that there was no reason to be shorting the US dollar while it was above this level. And sure enough, we saw 2 tests of this level and we're getting the rally here on Tuesday. Okay, now how does this align with the pound? Well, when we look at the DXY here, the US dollar index, you can see where if we go to a daily time frame and move out here, you've got this high from back here in August. Now, this was a very volatile candle, clearly, and you can see where we have an unfinished auction up here at the high, right around 100.25. Now, the DXY hasn't quite taken that out yet. However, there is a good chance we see that swept here really over the next 24 hours even, as long as the market holds above that November open. So if we get that, then this, of course, is going to be resistance. I would expect sellers to come out and defend that. However, the bigger area here for the DXY is going to be if we go to a monthly time frame. And just a side note, guys, those of you who have followed this for a while, for months, will remember this ascending channel here off of that 2011 low. So the lows back here, we've got highs up here, and you can see where this is a very clean equidistant channel from the DXY. And this is why I've been saying for months now that really, if anything, you should be flipping more bullish on the US dollar. Okay, and like I've discussed too in recent videos, I mean, the price action over the past few months mimics what we saw back here in 2021, at least so far. So what you can see is that, you know, back here we had 2 touches off of this level, right? This was your range. Back here, same exact thing. Okay, so right now we're basically at this point. We're at this point here in the DXY where we are approaching those highs and we probably get a pullback here from this area. Now, the area to watch, though, in my opinion, is going to be right here around 100.8. So yes, 100.25 is going to be resistance. I'm certainly not saying that it is not resistance. You don't want to be buying the US dollar into 100.25, in my opinion, because that is going to be a key resistance. However, the bigger area here for the DXY, the one that could really produce a pullback here from the US dollar, is going to be this monthly level that goes back to 2023. So look at all of these lows back here, right off of this key level. Now, furthermore, you can also notice where this upper wick, for the most part, went untested, okay, on the monthly time frame. So this is the month of, let me see here, I don't want to get this wrong for you guys. The month of May, we had the 50%. This is the 50% of this upper wick. So there is a lot going on up here at 100.8 for the DXY, to where if we are going to see a significant pullback from this market, again, 100.25 is going to be resistance. However, 100.8 is really, in my opinion, the one to watch here for the US dollar index. And furthermore, too, if we look here at the daily time frame, right, let's flip back here and take a look at these single prints up here, these imbalances, because these also could serve as a magnet for this market on the way up. So back here during this drop, you can see we have these single prints up here that come in just below that 100.8 level. We also have one up there around 100.93. So you've got to be a little bit careful trying to short right from 100.8, because we could get that swept into this level. However, again, I do think levels like this could serve as a magnet on the way up. But first, 100.25 is going to be resistance for the DXY, likely a pullback from there. And really, in my opinion, all of this is on the table as long as we are above that November open. If the DXY were to fail at that 99.75 November open, then we're looking at 99.3. But as long as we're above this here, guys, I think that this up here is open for business. Okay, so that kind of gives you a very good overview of this market. Now, another thing too, I want to point out here, If we look at the daily time frame, and this is also very similar to the pound, is if we take off of this level down here, I'm going to turn the magnet on to snap it right here to this low and drag it across these recent lows up here to this high. And what you'll notice here is that like the pound and like even the euro and the dollar yen even, we have an equidistant channel here with resistance coming in up there around 100.6 to 100.8. Now, as we know, as we discussed, this is going to be your key level, key monthly level, and then we have those single prints up here. So in my opinion, this area up here, once again, is going to be the resistance area to watch here for the DXY. And it's where if we are going to get a pullback from this market, it's the most likely area in my opinion. Now that doesn't negate this high back here because again, this is going to be resistance, but you've got support down there at the November open, so far holding above. You've also got this huge pocket up here for this market that it might want to retest over the coming days. So this is what I'll be watching. You've got the top of this channel here. You've also got that monthly level and you've got those single prints up there around 100.6. Okay, so this lines up here. If you look at this resistance area probably lines up with the pound coming into the bottom of its channel. So flipping back here to GBPUSD, you can see where you've got the bottom of this channel. Don't be surprised too if we get a wick below here if the DXY does test that area. But bottom line, this is going to be your support down here for the pound. And as for the DXY, this up here around 100.8 is going to be the resistance area to watch. Now, one last thing I'm going to leave you with, just because that right there is actionable. However, I'm going to make it even more actionable for you guys because if we go to the 30-minute time frame and turn on TPO, what you're going to notice here is that we do have this blue line up here is a single print. Okay, so what this means is that on the way down, we didn't see the market trade through here very cleanly, okay, or at least it didn't spend a lot of time here. It is a thinly traded area. Okay, so this move down here was so aggressive that we have that imbalance now up here around 1.3081 or so. So that is going to be one to watch because what we could get here from the pound on the way down, of course, it is a could. It doesn't mean that we will, but we could get the market, either from current levels or maybe a bit lower coming up here, sweeping this high and then continuing lower. Okay, so I think that this is going to be one to watch if you're looking for something actionable from the pound, just because, again, we do have that imbalance up here. It doesn't mean that the market will retest this exactly and rotate lower from this exactly because you also have these highs back here. But the bottom line is I think that this is the area to watch if you're looking for a short, looking for a sweep of that high up here before we get that further move lower down there toward that confluence of support. Okay, so that's what I'm watching on the pound and the DXY, guys. I hope that helped. I hope that gave you a really nice game plan here for the next few days. If it did, be sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to join us in VIP. Check out that link in the description of this video. Trade well out there, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.